Sometimes you just have to let go and admit when it's time to move on. So I'm going to explain on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And yeah, it's time to let go, guys. And it's not a bad thing. So I'm not leaving. The channel's still here. And that's not what we're talking about at all. We're talking about it's a new year and it's simply time to move on from the crap. Remember the video that I came out with maybe months ago telling you guys that really, if you think about it, most of the stuff that we're selling is just rejected stuff. I called it crap that people don't want, whether it's a customer return lot that you picked up. Well, those customers return that item. If it's a yard sale, if it's a thrift store, these people took the time. They didn't want the item that bad where they took the time to put it all into a bag and drove it to their local, Goodwill or Salvation Army and dropped the stuff off at the corner. Okay. That's how bad they just wanted it out of their life. People that are willing to take $1 or $2 just to get rid of it. I don't want it anymore. Well, guess what? In those people's mind, that item is crap. Now, I guess it's one person's trash is another person's treasure rings true. Never more true than on eBay. But I guess sometimes we get caught up in the crap and thinking that maybe this item has some value when it may not. So it's time to move on. It's time to move on from the crap. And for me, it's about building better ASP. We talked about that before. We talked about moving on from the stuff that's holding your store back. Now, of course, there's other sellers out there, some that watch this channel that have thousands of items in their store, okay? And they make 50 to 100 sales a day. But if you look at the items that they're selling, if you look at their listings, if you look at the incomplete listings with all the same item specifics, you see me wear this blue hat. They have a blue hat, they have a red hat, they have a green hat, and all the item specifics for each hat is pretty much the same, which means that those items are going to be harder for that customer to find, and those stores are going to have a lower sale through rate. So the focus that I want to focus on here is really how to optimize or increase your sale through rate with a higher ASP. Now, of course, I got a bunch of items here that I have in my store that are just low ASP, average sale price items, okay? And the only way to get rid of those out of my life is to just move them, either throw them in the trash, that's option one. Of course, donate them and let Goodwill, exploit somebody who's been wanting that record, and of course they do good things, but again, I think that they price their items just way too high, but that's another video. Or I can see what I can do here and just move them, discount these things. So I just got through listing a bunch of albums, and I'm not going to discount them yet. I'm going to let it run its course. I bought these lots last year in 2022, and I'm going to continue trying to make money with some of these items. But I'm talking about not the stuff I haven't listed yet. I'm talking about the stuff that's been sitting in my garage or on my racks, or for you guys maybe in your totes, for months. And in some cases it could be over a year or more that you're sitting on these items. So what do we do? What do we do as resellers? How do we move these items, and how do we get rid of the items that are holding back our sell-through rate? Now, to me, it's hard to figure out the sell-through rate, and that's why you don't get a lot of YouTubers on here trying to tell you, here's the optimal sell-through rate number you should be having, right? Because it's somewhat difficult. In the retail world, the sell-through rate is how many items you've sold versus how many items you're sitting on. Not necessarily that you've listed on eBay. It's also counting the crap you haven't even messed with in your death pile, right? Now, I guess there are some that we'll just say, okay, for simplicity's sake, let's figure out what the number of sales you've made as opposed to what you've listed, okay? But even then, it's really hard to track. For me, I'm like 25 to 30% if you're looking at that. And I'm not even counting the crap that's in my garage that I haven't listed yet. And why? Why is that? And really, if you think about it, some of these larger stores that have thousands, like 10, 20, 30, 40,000 listings and are only selling like 100 to 150 a day, they're selling at like a 3 to 5% sale through rate, which is atrocious, right? So I'm not trying to turn my house into a museum. I'm trying to just use the space that I have, use the garage, and I have new merchandise coming in, and this crap that's sitting on my shelves, I think really 60 days should pretty much be it. Now, if you're selling something that's seasonal, let's say you're sitting on a bunch of, let's say, shorts that you're thinking about listing or have listed. I mean, we're getting into the spring here pretty soon. In a few months, we're going to be right in the peak of things. So I'm not saying for those kind of items that are, you have the seasonal item coming up, that you should probably do something with those. What I'm saying is it's the other stuff, the stuff that just for no rhyme or reason could sell at any time, yet it hasn't. And it may be a good time to just say, okay, I'm into this item for $5. I'm into this item for $1. Maybe price it to where after fees, of course, I hope you're adding shipping to whatever you're doing, but after fees, you're going to, and your cost of goods, you're going to at least break even at the bare minimum. Of course, it's better just to throw it away than to take a loss, but maybe make a few bucks on it if you can. So for me, it's either one of two things. Either you're priced too high, either the market doesn't agree with your pricing, or there really is no market for your item, okay? And if it's the latter, then even setting a low price. I mean, you've seen those sellers who've tried to list something on auction for 99 cents plus shipping and they get no sales. Well, that's because there's really no market for that item, okay? It's time to move on. And if you can't sell that item, maybe bundle it. Maybe if you have a bunch of them, instead of trying to sell one here and one there, sell them all at one price, one discounted price, get your money back and move on, okay? For other items, it's just time to put it in the liquidation lot, the donation bin, whatever you want, maybe even the trash can if it's just that bad. And I think, I could sit up here all I want and tell you what you should do, but I think you guys need to be honest with yourselves. And what I'm doing is I'm going through my area here in the garage. I'm doing two tasks, really. I'm going through all the crap that's from the old liquidation lots that I bought last year and the year before. Some items I still have from the year before. And I'm just evaluating one item at a time. And while I'm doing that, I'm moving the items. I'm consolidating the racks that I use so that I can clear up space for new inventory, right? I think it's something that everyone should do. But instead of just moving stuff and changing the SKU to the new location, I'm also changing the price. So if I have something priced at $30 and I'm into it for 10 or 5, because I'm rarely into an item for more than 10, I'm figuring, maybe cut the price in half plus shipping, make a few bucks for my trouble, and just move on from it, okay? And I think that is a pretty decent strategy. I'm hopeful that'll generate some more sales here in the next couple weeks and help me move on from this stuff so I can make better decisions in 2023, learn from these mistakes here that, I keep looking at, and, just move on from them. And that's the theme of this video, moving on, improving your numbers. And I don't want to get into the numbers right now. What's a great optimal sell-through rate? Because I think that's up for debate, really depending on the method that you use. But the one method that I would actually use, when I'm looking at a store, I'll look at how many items that seller has up for sale currently. And I'll look at the last 90 days. And if they've sold as many items as they currently have listed, then to me that's a pretty good sell-through rate. Now that could be misleading. We don't know how many items that they listed over the last 90 days, so it's really hard to make a case of whether or not that's a good sell-through rate for that seller. But for me, that's kind of the gauge I use without doing all the complicated math. And if you're looking at your numbers and you have, let's say, 500 items listed but only 100 items sold in the last 90 days, that's not very good, guys. And it's time to evaluate the stuff that you have for sale. And I call it stuff, but it's really crap that you have for sale, and evaluate whether or not it's one of those two things, whether your item is priced too high or there's no market for your item and you just need to figure out creative ways to get rid of it. It's time to move on, guys. So guys, I want to know what you think down below. Please comment down below. I'd appreciate that. And of course, you know what? I think by now you know the routine. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. I think a lot of sellers can relate to what I'm saying here, that we really have stuff that we've picked up that we've had some high hopes for, and just like a bad relationship, it's not working out, guys. It's time to move on. Like a bad poker hand, it's time to fold. I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. That's certainly appreciated. And of course, hit that notification bell so when I go live or make another video, you'll be one of the first ones that's notified. So you know what, guys? Sometimes we make bad decisions when we're sourcing and buying stuff to resell. Everyone does. And I think we try to justify that bad purchase. We put lipstick on the pig and hope that someone's going to see the value that we saw when we first bought the item. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. So move on. Move on from those items. Take the time. Right now is a good time of year, beginning of the year. Go through your existing inventory and get rid of crap, because that crap is going to hold your items back from the, we didn't even talk about it in the video. You get a search algorithm boost when you have a higher sell-through rate. And I don't know what the exact boost is, but it's like this. Every little thing you do with your store, you get a boost, a small boost on the algorithm, whether it is a good title, good pictures, good sell-through rate, good account health. And for me, it's just yet more stuff to think about and more examples of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your week, and we will talk to you very soon.